Let's talk about Rasmus Højlund. There's a whole lot of news going on social media with a whole lot talking about him being linked with a move away from Manchester United, with a move away from Old Trafford. But we need to kind of talk about him as a player and just kind of touch on it a little bit. Rasmus Højlund came to Man United as a 20-year-old striker from Atalanta in 2022 or 2023 rather, and basically just kind of found it hard at first to kind of get scoring and get going on this in the score line for Manchester United and everything. It was hard for him to get started at the club, but then as the season went by, he found his scoring form and started to score goals. But if we are to look back or trace back in history and all of that, he played for Copenhagen in 21-22 season and went back to the reserves as a 19-year-old. He basically practically started with the Copenhagen Academy and then went to Strom Graz. I think he went on loan, played 13 games. Yeah, in 21-22 season, Strom Graz went on loan, played 13 games, scored 6 goals in the first season. And then 22-23 season, played at Sturm Graz again, 8 games, 6 goals, and 1 assist. And then he went to Atlanta and played 34 games. I think that was his first full season. 34 games, 10 goals, 2 assists. At that time, 1920, pretty young, raw talent, a few highlights here and there. You could tell that this guy was made to be great, marauding runs and, very tough, player dealing with, the defensive rigidity of the Italian league. He played 34 games, 1 full season, and scored 10 goals and 2 assists in all competitions, basically. And then Man United got him for the 23-24 season. And then in that first season, he played 43 games. He scored 16 goals and 2 assists, basically, in that game. So more like 18 goal contributions. The previous season, he had 12 goal contributions. So there's pretty much like a growth that you could see in that season. And in that season, he played 30 games in the Premier League. He got 10 goals in that same Premier League season. 2 assists, and then he played in the Champions League. He played 6 games. He scored 5 goals. So it seemed like, oh yeah, we got a good one here. 21-year-old striker, doing well and all of that. Pretty young. And then basically, in the FA Cup, he played 5 games. He scored 1 goal. In the EFL Cup, he played 2 games and didn't score. So in total, 16 goals and 2 assists. And you're like, okay, this guy is pretty. He's getting there, right? He's getting there. And under Ten Hag, it seemed like, okay, Ten Hag has got a striker. And imagine having that guy with, I think with Cristiano Ronaldo at the time, I think. And then, lo and behold, Cristiano Ronaldo did what Cristiano Ronaldo did. And then Rasmus kind of became the lone striker. And with loads of injuries in the squad, he was still there. Even when injured, he went out the squad, came back, and then, just continued and stuff. And then comes the 24-25 season. Ten Hag had just won the FA Cup with the EFL Cup with that Rasmus Højlund. No, the FA Cup with Rasmus Højlund leading the line. He had just won the FA Cup with Rasmus Højlund leading the line, and we come into the 24-25 season where Rasmus Højlund now eventually played his highest number of games. In fact, he had not played up to 40 games in his career up until he came to Manchester United, and he played 43 games in his first season. And then eventually played 52 games the next season. But this next season was just this last season that just went by. And obviously you could tell, okay, just getting used to the Erik Ten Hag, style of play and all of that, playing as a lone striker. And then obviously the summer came, and then we signed Joshua Zirkzee. Okay, we have 23-year-old and 22-year-old young strikers. They can complement each other and all of that. This season started, and Joshua Zirkzee had a stinker. Yeah, quite all right, albeit he's trying to, eventually get used to the system, get used to the Premier League and all of that. And then Rasmus Højlund became the leading guy. And then we came to Europe. He's scoring in Europe. And then in the season, 24-25 season, Rasmus Højlund played 32 Premier League games. Remember, I said he hasn't played up to 40 games until he came to Manchester United. He played 43 games as a 21-year-old. Now he's 22. He played 32 Premier League games, 15 Europa League games, 3 FA Cup games, and 2 EFL Cup games. In the Premier League, obviously, 32 games, 4 goals, 0 assists. Very poor performance, very poor season. He was struggling all game. Was struggling. I remember I can count the games that he scored in. I mean, I remember one is the Leicester game. I can count the games he scored in. He scored against Bournemouth as well. That's his 4th goal. Like, you can count the games he scored in. He's really struggled. Chances haven't come his way, and he hasn't also made chances and all of that. So, obviously, he played 32 games in the Premier League. He scored 4 goals. And then in the Europa League, he played 15 games. He scored 6 goals. Okay, you could look at this as, okay, it's Europa League, 15 games, 6 goals. That's about probably 0.8 or 0.7 goals per game. That's fine. He had 2 assists as well. So if you're looking at goal contribution, that's pretty much about 8 goal contributions in the Europa League. Okay, that's fine. And then lo and behold, he basically did what he had to do, struggled in the Premier League and everything, and then his confidence was shot to pieces. And then lo and behold, in total, playing 32 games in Premier League, 15 good games in Europa League, 3 games in the FA Cup, and 2 games in the EFL Cup, a total of 52 games. He scored 10 goals, 2 assists. So that's 12 goal contributions in 52 games. In total, I think in Man United, he scored a total of 26 goals in total for Man United in over 97 games. 95 games rather. So he played 95 games, all competitions for Man United. He scored only 26 goals. That's about probably like 0.6, 0.7 goals per game. Now, the truth is, the stats, like the numbers, don't really add up when it comes to Rasmus Højlund. But the in-game situations, like him holding up play and all that, needs a lot of improvement. And obviously, I've said this time and again. But which brings me to the question, will Rasmus Højlund be sold by Manchester United? Now, there is also news online stating that, obviously, Inter are interested in Rasmus Højlund. They want him to lead their line. Obviously, they have a pretty kind of not so young front line, maybe with the Kolomwani and with the Thuram and Martinez. You could tell that, okay, obviously, they will basically, need reinforcement. Well, Sky Sports reports that Rasmus Højlund has told the media in Denmark. Obviously, Inter were interested. They've been having conversations through intermediaries and all of that. But he told reporters in Denmark that he expects to play for Manchester United next season. And then, obviously, the striker has been linked with a move away from Old Trafford, with Sky in Italy reporting that Inter Milan hold an interest. So I'll call it basically just holding an interest. But Man United fans are split when it comes to Rasmus Højlund. Man United fans are split when it comes to like talking about a player like this and all of that. But what do you guys think? Because I know most of you would think, oh, Rasmus should be sold. He's not good enough and all that. Albeit, Man United knew what they were going for. They were going for potential when they were for Rasmus Højlund. Looking at his season stats in his career, he has never scored 20 goals in a season. Never. The highest number of goals he's scored in a season is 16, and that is for Manchester United. Anything that comes close was at under 19 level, right? And he scored 15 goals that season. All through his career, he's been scoring 10, 11, 15, 6, 10, 16, and then 10. Now, the truth is, when Man United signed him, they signed potential. But when we signed him, the mistake we made was not signing him alongside an experienced forward, an experienced striker who he can learn off of and all of that. Cristiano Ronaldo would have been just the perfect one, but then the whole thing, you know how the whole story went and all of that. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? Because for me, I would say, just like Paul Scholes said recently in the Overlap fan debate, when he said that for him, he feels like, and that's the first time I feel Paul Scholes has really said anything with regards to being positive when it comes to Manchester United players. Basically, he said Man United should keep Rasmus Højlund. That's what he said, right? So many people have also released a lot of like unpopular opinions. Like I'm reading one now saying sign either Victor Gyökeres or Victor Osimhen and keep Rasmus Højlund as an understudy. Manchester United will have the best striker depth in world football. Disclaimer, I am talking about Rasmus Højlund in the first season at Manchester United. Whatever it is, this person is trying to avoid being bamboozled in the comments about him talking about Rasmus Højlund and all of that. And Rasmus Højlund was also told, basically a few days ago, Rasmus Højlund was also told Sky Sports that he's completely committed to the project. He said, I have a contract until 2030 and I expect to play at Manchester United. I'm looking forward to a little summer break and then I'm fully dedicated to the project. That's him talking to the Danish reporters. So this is a player who really, really wants to prove himself, who really wants to prove. It's better that you are proving yourself and doing the work than going to the media and talking rubbish. That is it. It's better that you're proving yourself, on trying to prove yourself on the pitch than going to the media and talking rubbish. And I really agree. I agree with some of the talks and the takes on signing an experienced striker. I mean, Victor Gyökeres is basically 27, 28 years old, and then having Rasmus, who is 6 to 7 years old younger, to learn off of him. And then you have Chido Obi, who also is a Danish international, coming up as well to learn off of him. Or even Victor Osimhen, how he applies himself and all of that. Like, that will be a great addition to the squad and a great a great thing for us as a team to have good squad depth. I remember in those days when we used to have Rooney, Van Persie, Babatov all in one squad, and Chicharito waiting on the wings as well. And would have Tevez, Rooney, Chicharito, Babatov at some point. We'll have different Saha, would have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, would also have Wayne Rooney, as striker. And then obviously we'll still have Wayne Rooney who can play on the left side of the front three and all of that. And then we'll have Nani playing on the right. And then we'll also have Ronaldo in that same squad. So we had a lot of depth in the squad. And I think that this is what Manchester United should look towards now. You're already looking towards signing someone like Victor Gyökeres, who is a good player, who has a good goal scoring rate, and then Rasmus watching on the sidelines, as well as Chido Obi watching on the sidelines. We'll have a lot of games. I won't lie to you, we're going to have a lot of games. Remove the 16 games in Europe, we still have a lot of games. We're still going to probably have around 50 games next season, depending on how far we go in the cups, right? And if we have good squad depth with striking and all that, in the cups, you could play Rasmus and then eventually Chido Obi and eventually, Victor Gyökeres if we are playing really tough games and all of that. And then they will have time to learn, they'll have time to rest, the pressure will be off their shoulder and their confidence will be building. So that is what I think. I think Man United should keep Rasmus Højlund. He's got potential. He's got a contract to 2030, as he said. And he also is young. He's 22. Even when I know a lot of players sometimes hit their peak at 22. There are some late bloomers who hit their peaks at 25, 26, 27. He hasn't even reached there yet. For someone whose confidence is shot to pieces, I expected that obviously he's going to probably go back to basics, but he isn't. But then he's still doing what he needs to do and playing like him. So there's a whole lot to improve on. Take the break, come back preseason, start afresh with Rúben Amorim, learn the tactics. If we have Gyökeres has played that system before, learn it again, build up your confidence and even start scoring, right? In preseason, he scored against Arsenal and we're like, okay, Rasmus is back, but he went on injury, came back. Like, people seem to forget all of that. And I'm not giving it as an excuse or anything whatsoever, but I feel like we need to just cut Rasmus Højlund the slack. This is the second season, and I pretty much believe that second season syndrome caught up with him. And will Manchester United sell Rasmus Højlund? That's the burning question. I believe Manchester United should not sell Rasmus Højlund. Let's let him cook again. Let's let him build up again. I know many fans might say, oh, he's done. But, I think we should just give him another chance this third season and then watch as his numbers will soar, basically. I mean, his highest scoring season in his career was last season, the season before, his first season under Manchester United under Ten Hag. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. We could go on, and I could give you points and pointers as to why Man United should keep Rasmus Højlund. But I believe he's going to stay, and then we're going to keep building with him, as well as sign other people as we come up. But let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.